As we continue, it's OG Sports Wrap on the network, and I'm joined by my partner in crime, as always, Arthur Trish, former NBA media relations, easier for me to say, director with the Atlanta Hawks. And we've been talking a lot over the past month about the World Cup, and now that it's over, away from the shenanigans, I want to get your thoughts on, first off, the halftime show. It seems to me FIFA is, for lack of a better term now, biting off of the NFL. Has the NFL set the standard for the halftime show that all other sports leagues are going to bite off of? Because when you look at the streaming numbers, Arthur, those acts who performed before the 60 million people that were watching have seen streams of those shows increase by, mega percentage points. Do you think they captured lightning in a bottle there?
I'm not sure because I was working the Atlanta Dream game on Sunday, so I missed the halftime show. But I obviously saw some reports on everything, and the NFL has that, like you said, under lock, stock, and barrel. I mean, no one can touch the NFL. The acts that they put together over the years, even back dating as far back as Upward People, they've controlled it, and I mean they've had some interesting ones over the last decade or so. But my favorite halftime act outside of Michael Jackson was Prince in the Rain. So
It was.
it's
It was.
you're gonna have to go a long way to top that any
Well,
league.
Kendrick came close.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did.
Kendrick, for a variety of reasons we're not going to get into right now. But there were
Right.
some significant social statements.
Yeah.
But I just looked at them, how they went to various continents, for lack of a better term.
Right.
You pull the Korean band who had served their time in the military. What is that, BTS?
Yeah.
And they did their thing. Shakira, still Shakira. They trotted out a fossil of Madonna, and it was still crunk, as they say. It just appears to me they took the recipe that the NFL has created, put it on a bigger platform, and they had 60 million viewers, man.
Well,
60 million.
and here's the other thing. All of that nonsense that the NFL had to endure with Bad Bunny, and it wasn't Bad Bunny's fault, we didn't hear a peep for the most part for the World Cup's halftime show and the diversity that they had on stage. And it was like, so you guys can knock the NFL and what it's doing over and over and over again, but you had to lead up for the World Cup. You knew who was going to perform, and you still didn't voice any negativity as far as it appeared to me. So I was like, I just want to pick and choose what you want to fight about, and it's like leave that stuff at home next time, because in 6 months we'll be doing this all over again from an NFL standpoint.
This is true.
I'm not sure who Jay-Z is looking at this time around, but it's the battle's getting thin, only because there are only so many. I don't know what your musical tastes are these days, but I know there's only so much I can listen to of today's contemporary music because I thank God that I still have my my iPod, and that thing hasn't crashed on me, because I listen to it darn near every day. And it's like I have tunes on there ranging from Earth, Wind, and Fire to Dave Grusin to Christopher Cross. You name it, I got it. And it's like, hey, you can harp on my tunes if you wanna. I know what I like. And
Well,
so,
and that's the beautiful thing about music. Everybody can, embrace their own eclectic palette, and we all have one. I'm an acid jazz neo soul guy. Can't get enough of it. You know what I'm saying? So I miss people like that. Arthur Trish is my guest, the former media relations director with the Atlanta Hawks, as we talk about some of this media stuff. And the media has been making headlines all week. We saw the release of Ryan Clark. And then a day afterwards, I'm in the same building with Ryan Clark and the pivot for the Mideastern Athletic Conference Football Media Day, which was at M&T Bank Stadium in Baltimore. And then I don't know if it aired on ESPN or not, but I know they did the pivot show from there. Let's go back to what we're looking at in terms of the downsizing of the worldwide leader. How shocking is it for you if you take everything as an example? We're talking about a guy that was a two-time member of an Emmy award-winning studio show.
Right, right.
All right. He has great numbers with his social media following. I don't look at him as a troublemaker or necessarily a starter of an upheaval, but it's almost as though Ryan Clark got the Boston Celtics treatment from ESPN in the same fashion that Jaylen Brown did when he
Right,
got
right.
shipped to Philly. I mean,
Yeah.
is that overstatement, hyperbole, or something?
No, no, now that you mention it, it does have a little bit of taste, similar taste to it. And I mean, I feel sorry for Ryan, but Ryan's going to be all right. I mean, as you aforementioned, he does have his pivot show, and I'm sure he's going to be a valuable free agent for somebody out there in the broadcast world, because I'm not sure if CBS is set on its NFL Today crew. I know they made some changes this offseason. NBC made some changes in the offseason. So, and his old coach, Mike Tomlin, is joining the Sunday Night Football group. So I'm
He's
not
getting
sure.
Tony Dungy spot.
And Tony
You know
Dungy's
what I'm
spot.
saying?
So I'm not sure if NBC would be looking inside. But a lot of what we're seeing in the sports media business is a result of these rights fees that these networks are paying uh, to these leagues and conferences, and it's so far over the top. Every time one of these conferences or one of these leagues gets a new deal, the ramifications down the road is going to be layoffs, and people behind the scenes are always affected by it, and it's unfortunate that that's the case. But we saw this about a couple of years ago with ESPN when they did the initial NBA deal, and now with them buying the NFL network, like they really needed it, but they ended up purchasing the NFL network, and so changes were in the offing following that. And I mean, along with Ryan being let go, Carl Ravitch, the longtime Sports Center host and baseball
And that's a gut punch for me as a
aficionado,
baseball guy.
yeah, man, and there were several other people, and I think there's still some other names that we just haven't seen or heard from yet. But it's a shame because I know how some people get satisfaction out of that. I'll kick,
Yeah,
whatever.
right.
But I don't find any satisfaction out of someone losing their job in this day and age. It's not fun. It's not pleasant. And in this climate, it's everybody's having to fend for themselves, and it's a dog eat dog world. And so we've all been through it, and it's not, like I said, it's not pleasant. You just keep striding forward, and you hope that you're able to come out on the better side. And so I think Ryan, he's got certainly a lot of irons in the fire and a lot of talent with his abilities. And so it wouldn't surprise me if before the season starts, he lands on his feet somewhere.
Does it shock you that oftentimes when we see moves like this, therefore, like the reporter types, and I hate to group Carl Ravitch into that, but
Mm,
for purposes of this argument, him, Tom Pellisario,
right,
pretty damn good NFL reporter. I mean, when you go back into straight journalism, some of the guys that let go are
right.
phenomenal journalists and have been great insiders. So, are we getting away from journalism and want more personality as it relates to how the networks are building their rosters in order to cover these enormous rights fees that they're paying when they get the NFL and the NBA deals?
Well, like something I read this morning that indicated if you own your production studio and your show and everything encompassing it, you're one step ahead. And Stephen A. is a little late to the game. He's behind Pat McAfee in that regard. But
And salary now too, but that's a
yeah, yeah,
topic for
yeah.
another. I mean, they give
So
it's one. We were tripping. Remember Stephen A. getting $20 million. Pat now getting 60 a year.
a punter.
A punter, right?
I mean, Tom Brady got all that money from Fox few years back, and we were all astonished that someone who had no media experience whatsoever was not only getting paid handsomely by Fox, but he was also taking over the number one spot. from Greg Olson, and I'm like, maybe he started to finally feel himself a little more comfortable last season with being the number one guy at Fox. But Greg Olson is still Greg Olson, and he's way better, in my opinion, than Tom Brady.
He
But
is.
it's a difficult business to figure out these days because there's so many. ESPN, for example, there's so many individuals that are new to the Sports Center set of anchors or what have you, and I haven't had a chance to watch much of the SEC media days, but I know Lane Kiffin spoke today, and so I certainly want to check him out a little bit later. But it's there are a lot of faces that are either stepping away from the business. I mean, Linda Cohn, as we know, a few months back, finally
My
she
girl.
retired, and some people do need to step away because age gets us all, and you want to leave on your terms before they force you out the door. But it's a delicate situation within the sports media business nowadays, and you just wonder what approach these networks are really behind. Because with some of these networks, the news divisions are running things, and they're messing things up just as much. But I was happy to hear out of James Brown's mouth the other day that he's not ready to go, and so keep doing your thing, JB. And Nate Burleson is just going to have to wait a little while. That's all.
Programming note, I hope to have a sit down with him on Saturday. JB
Okay, good.
is, so that would be something at this event that we can break the audience off with. And last couple of minutes before we go to this break, I got to get your thoughts. And you mentioned the SEC as far as their media days are concerned, and there was a lot of trash. They got a made-for-TV event out of everything that went on there. I found myself compelled every morning to get up and watch. But the thing that stands out to me, if there is one conference that could break away
Mm-hmm.
and do its own thing and make their money, it looks to me like it's the SEC because through their merger, they've picked up a lot of bigger markets. Dallas, Houston, you always had Miami, Jacksonville, Tampa, Nashville, and the whole bit. I could see a model, not that I'm saying I would want it to happen, that they could self-sustain away from being a part of the college football championship series and then just go ahead and grow their championship brand as if it's a national championship thing and continue to move it along. Do you think that's something that's feasible?
Yeah, oh, I definitely do because the conversation continues, and it's never ending. And I don't care what Greg Sankey says that maybe now's not the time. They're talking about it, and it just never seems to go away. And let's face it, the SEC is deep
It is.
with all these teams. I mean, the Big Ten, excuse me, certainly has a lot to crow about having won the last three national championships, but still their bucket is kind of thin. I mean, it's you got teams out in the Big Ten, and you're like, they're afterthoughts. And if they had to
Right.
play SEC schools,
Northwestern,
right,
Maryland,
Nebraska even. I mean, a school
right.
like Nebraska.
Nebraska, yeah.
If you were stuck with having to play those, if it was SEC, Big Ten each and every week, it would really be interesting to see how that merger or the conference versus conference football affair would look because the ACC is not that conference
It is
anymore.
not.
Miami
It
may
never was really, Arthur.
right. I mean, Miami may have once Florida State kind of fell off the map.
Yeah.
They
And then
really
Clemson fell off too.
right,
So
right, and Georgia Tech has been inconsistent, and so they may be looking to ramp things up a little bit more based on their season a year ago. But still, you're just picking a couple of teams here and there, whereas the SEC is totally deep. Hey, you can't even overlook Vanderbilt.
you can. You can. Hey, let's take a pause for the cause, come back on the other side, and continue the conversation with Arthur Trish, the former media relations director with the Atlanta Hawks and good friend of the program. It's OG Sports Rap on the network. Download the mobile app, Sports Rap Network, because we all we got. All right. And 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. It is OG Sports Rap. I'm Professor G. Mark Gray. That is Arthur Trish, who is hanging out with us, our good friend and media insider, as we continue to move this thing along. now I got to take you back to the golden days, my friend. The days where you were a humble little team PR executive. How do the Miami Heat make such an egregious mistake with their social media by putting it out there? So, first off, do you think that that was just a Freudian slip and it's really going to go down when he makes his decision on the 27th? Or was that just a big time mistake?
Well, I'm sure Pat Riley was not happy about it. Uh, it, it I didn't even think mistakes like that happen in this day and age. I mean, back when I was in the league, we had instances where stuff like that happened. But I've been gone for 15 years now, and we're still having some of these blips that you're like, how in the world is everyone or so many people within an organization clued in to where these Freudian slips happen? And that should never happen. I mean, I don't care if you trust these departments wholeheartedly. You can't tell everybody everything. It's that simple. And you have to keep that circle of trust tight because this is what happens. And now everyone's speculating that LeBron might do this in a week or so. He's now supposedly miffed because Adam Silver has been making noise about wanting to get the schedule done, and LeBron and his camp is holding everything up. It's like, dude, make a decision. It's like, how much more time do you need here? I mean, it's you didn't make the Western Conference Final. You've had all this time off. You could have golfed up a ton or gone on vacation and everything else in the world. The draft has happened, free agency has happened, and now it's all about you. And I thought you were casting your ego aside with some of the stuff in the offseason. But turns out LeBron 24/7 continues to reign supreme. So it's time for him to get off the pot and make a decision, man. We know you still feel you're that guy when you're not. Okay. So just do us all a favor and get it done. Now, I will be surprised if it ends up in he ends up in Miami, and I still think he should go to New York, but that's me. And
I
if
wouldn't
you,
mind having him in New York.
hey, there's a pending chance for a reason, and you're playing in the Mecca, and I can't state that enough. It's the best place in the world if you're a ball player, and if you made all the money in the world, you've already won championships, and you haven't played in New York City, and you played in L.A., you need to play in New York.
He could be the king of New York. I just
Yeah,
really thought of that. I mean,
yeah.
because you look at, I'm seeing Carl Anthony Towns and Jalen Brunson on WWE events
Right,
now.
right.
Can you imagine what that would be like? Which is a topic for another conversation. I don't know how this stuff has become suddenly,
Mainstream.
newsworthy on Sports Center.
Right.
Remember that we used to be the holy grail where it wasn't sports news until you saw it on Sports Center.
Right.
Now we're seeing fake made up events. It's just too much for me right
with,
now.
with betting lines. And I'm
With
like,
betting lines. when when do we start betting on WWE? Should that be legal?
no.
Right. And so that brings me to a bigger point about ESPN and the integrity issue. Um, Sooner or later, when you start talking about inside information slipping out, that's what we do as beat reporters. We get inside information. We use that information for stories and the like. I don't know about you, but I'm sensing that Pandora's box is opening here. And sooner or later, we could have a Tim Donaghy type that's on deadline,
Right.
if you know where I'm coming
Right.
from. Um, that kind of worries me, especially in a time when the credibility of journalism
Mhm.
is hanging in the balance. You know what I'm saying?
Well, especially when it's been over 20 years since Donaghy uh, had his scandal. And as a matter of fact, I think I saw him doing a sit down interview with somebody within the past 7 days. And I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
why? And I mean, I know the reason why, because betting encompasses everything that goes on in sports nowadays, and it's sickening. I mean, I can't tell you how many times when I was with an NFL or NBA team, or doing my green hat duties for the NFL now, I have to go through the same scrutiny that a full time official goes through in terms of league policy. we know good and well we can't bet on games. We can't go to casinos, certainly during the season, but you cannot bet on games. I cannot talk to people about injury updates regarding any team or player. You can barely bet on fantasy leagues. And it's
Wow.
like, so I don't mess with it at all. It's like, if you make a friendly wager with a friend of yours, if you had rival teams playing against each other, you better make sure it's just a sandwich. Because if the NFL finds out about it, you may be history. And so we just heard the word this past week involving the Arizona Cardinal executive who lost his gig or had been temporarily shelved or what have you, regarding giving information to whomever. And I'm like, we're still doing this stuff right now. We've had a number of suspensions. Michael Porter Jr.'s brother blowing his career, if he even had much of a career. But I mean, it's great money you can make without wasting it on a stupid bet. But yet, here we are.
Do you think the fueling of the gambling parlors getting into a bed with leagues and networks and so forth is kind of making it a lot more difficult for those people who were on the edge,
Oh yeah,
teetering on the brink to come
oh
on
yeah,
over
because
to what could be perceived as the dark side if they start losing?
you're hearing it 24/7. Fans are reacting a lot more vehement towards players when when they lose a game, when the team loses a game, and now they're mad because they may have lost a parlay or what's that other prop bet.
Prop bet, yeah. Okay, we got a little bit of a technical issue right here, so we'll
Bet or
take it.
something like that, and you're yelling at the player and everything. Okay, you can get something off your chest. People, real bold, not worth it, man. It really isn't.
Arthur Trish Withers, our media relations insider. And this is the week of the WNBA All Star game. Leading up, it has not quite frankly been a good week. I mean,
No,
let's be real for a second. You've had, well, first off, it started last week with Congress saying that the league needs to do a better job with protecting Caitlin Clark. Um, then you've got the ladies themselves, and I think this is what bothers me the most. This is your all-star game.
mm-hmm.
If you're a star, you're supposed to be performing for the fans who help make you a star. Where the men once had the crowning moment of their all-star weekend being the dunk contest, the crowning moment of the women's all-star weekend has been the three-point shooting contest. And the superstars aren't participating.
Well,
Now,
there's a reason for that.
why is that?
Supposedly, Sabrina Ionescu and the Minnesota player. I'm looking right at her. I can't call her name right now. But she's been carrying a little bit of the weight along with Olivia Miles with Nafisa Collier's
Injury, yeah.
absence. And thankfully, Nafisa came back the other night and picked up right where she
Right
left
where she left off.
off.
And
But
looked real good doing it.
Kayla McBride is
Taylor
the
McBride,
sort of
right.
player I'm thinking of. Those were the two best shooters from 3-point range in the league, and they're not participating in a 3-point shootout. What is Kathy Barron's doing, or Kathy
Engelbert.
Engelbert doing? Because somebody at that league needs to lose their job. I'm sorry. I mean, this is your premier event outside of the finals. You're being showcased Friday and Saturday, and you have your stellar event in the 3-point shootout that Sabrina helped put on the map when she went head to head against Steph Curry a few years back. And since that time, it's amazing that Caitlin Clark isn't even participating in it. I'm like, really? So now you're gonna pull LeBron? You don't. LeBron doesn't want to do the slam dunk contest. You don't want to do the 3-point shootout, but you want to launch threes every time, every game from anywhere. It makes no sense, and so it's disappointing. I don't know who's in the 3-point shootout right now. I know Atlanta. I think Ryan Howard may be in it.
I did see her name on there.
And so I know Ryan can knock down shots, and I get to see her more than a lot of people, and so I wish her the best in it. But I'm like, it's still not the best of the best.
All right, let me give you the contestants. It's
Okay.
Az Fudd, Marina Mabry, Ryan Howard, Bridget Carlton, uh, Natasha Heidemann, and Janelle Salone from the Valkyries. And when you consider the
Not a
people
bad.
that are not in there, no
Yeah.
Sabrina, like you mentioned, no Kayla McBride, no Sophie Cunningham, no Kelsey Mitchell, and no
Mhm.
Kelsey Plum. That last quartet, Arthur, are elite superstars of the game, and they're not participating. And I understand that there's some frustration between Engelbert and the rank and file. We even saw the embarrassment of a game having to be postponed because ladies are still flying charter. I don't get that one either. But how much damage control needs to be done right now before this thing comes all the way off the track?
Or how much more can you allow turmoil to reign supreme in the WNBA? We thought when they got the collective bargaining agreement settled that things would be a little more smooth sailing. No, we're still dealing with mess
Right.
each and every week. I mean, Caitlin yelling at referees, getting she got another technical last night, so she's at 7. So she gets one more technical, she's going to be suspended for a game, and that continues with each technical. And you just the W needs to get out of its own way, and they need to understand that look, people, you've got more eyeballs attracted to you than ever before. The World Cup is out of the way. Baseball's All Star Game is over and done with, and it was kind of ho hum and lackluster. You have a chance on this weekend to really dominate and grab the country's attention by having a really good game, which you had in the past, and looking at the two different teams. Teresa Weatherspoon should still be coaching in the WNBA
She
because
should
her
be.
team is solid,
Mm-hmm.
and I didn't understand why Chicago let her go to begin with. That certainly led to, in my opinion, Angel Reese wanting to get the heck up out of there and come on to Atlanta. But Teresa Weatherspoon is a quality coach, and the WNBA should have someone like her on the sideline. And
Or some enterprising college basketball program,
right,
because I think she may get a better of a buy-in
yeah,
um, from people who would respect the fact that she's one of the legends of the game, which
sure.
is absolutely mind-boggling to me. But the thing that really scares me is Congress wants to be involved, the union is unhappy, and everybody's calling for Engelbert to resign. But she
How about
was the person who brought the collective bargaining agreement home, right?
uh-huh,
So
uh-huh.
how do you justify that?
Well, you do it by saying we appreciate your years of service, but where it's time for a fresh face and some new blood. And there are some quality individuals out there who could certainly assume that mantle and lead the league. I know some people think Cheryl Miller should be someone the WNBA should consider. I
Any
have
one of Pat Summitt's girls either, whether it's Candace Parker,
right,
they seem to get the fact that not only are you a ball player, but you're a caretaker for the future of the sport. And
right,
that's
and
one thing I always seem to respect. And I think Gino's girls do that from
mhm,
UConn as well.
mhm.
I think there might be that East Coast edge about them that might rub people the wrong way. So we gotta get ready to get up out of here. But Arthur, let's be real for a second. Football
Yeah.
season's about to start.
In
When's your
about a
first
week.
preseason game?
In about a week,
See,
they'll be back at it again on and practices starting, and the Falcons kick off the preseason August the 14th, and I'm sure, as a matter of fact, the Hall of Fame game will be the week before that, and I'm disappointed, given my health issues, that it prevented me from going to see Drew Brees getting inducted into
oh
the
wow,
Hall of Fame this year because hey,
he was something to watch.
yeah, man, Breezy. I've been watching all his highlights over and over
so
again.
so quickly, I got about 15 seconds.
Right.
Does he replace Archie Manning as the greatest in
Oh yeah,
Saints history?
no question because he's got that.
Okay. I
I
just
mean,
wanted to make sure. Just
as
wanted because I
as
remember the days of Danny Abramowitz as well
right,
and Hokie Gajan and the boys. So
look, as
I
great
took a couple L's with you. That's
as
my man, Arthur Trish
yes
from
sir,
Atlanta. Thanks for hanging out with us, bro. Always a pleasure to talk to you, and we'll
who's
holler
that?
back again next week. All right. Stick with us. We're going to close the book on the other side on this quality radio product, at least according to me. I'm Professor G. It's OG Sports Rap on the network. Remember, download the mobile app, Sports Rap Network, because we all we got.